Hey folks, so today we're diving into something that honestly is just beyond frustrating, disturbing even. I'm talking about China and Turkey, two countries that love to stand on global stages talking about peace, diplomacy, blah blah blah, while at the same damn time, they're fueling terrorism by supporting Pakistan. Let's not sugarcoat anything here. This isn't some strategic alliance or friendly cooperation. No. This is a full-blown shameless partnership that emboldens a country, Pakistan, that has time and again harbored terrorists, sheltered radicals, and actively destabilized the region. So, let's start with China. Yeah, the same China that loves parading around like it's some kind of enlightened peacekeeper, handing out lectures on stability, mutual respect, and all that polished diplomatic nonsense. You know the usual crap they say in front of cameras at the UN, pretending they're some moral beacon. But behind the curtains, behind those sleek suits and PR rehearsals, they're neck deep in destabilizing South Asia. China isn't neutral. It's strategically aligned with terrorism. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Recently, their Foreign Minister Wang Yi rang up India's NSA Ajit Doval. And what did he say? Urge restraint, support peaceful dialogue. Wow. Thanks for nothing, Wang Yi. You talk peace while your intelligence agencies are feeding real-time satellite imagery to Pakistan's military. You talk diplomacy while your cyber operatives are helping coordinate attacks on Indian border posts. How's that for two-faced? Let's be real. China isn't just supporting Pakistan militarily. They're running a bloody shadow war. Every time Pakistani forces move, every time a drone is launched or a strike is attempted, there's a Chinese hand somewhere in the background, guiding, watching, supplying. And what about those so-called advanced missile defense systems they gifted Pakistan? Oh yeah, the shiny tech they brag about, radar systems, anti-air batteries, tracking modules, straight from Beijing's factories. Let me tell you what happened. India didn't just breach those defenses, we embarrassed them. India's Air Force conducted precision strikes with surgical accuracy. Walked right through Pakistan's Chinese-made shield like it wasn't even there. Why? Because that Chinese hardware, like everything else they manufacture, is cheap, untested garbage. Flashy-looking systems with glossy paint jobs, but under the hood? Flawed circuits, software glitches, and zero field reliability. Just like their smartphones and cheap knockoff electronics. Pakistan thought they had an edge. Turns out they were holding a plastic sword. And India? India brought the firepower, and the results speak for themselves. So yeah, keep selling your trash weapons, China. India's got the real steel, and it works. Now let's pivot to Turkey, or should I say, Pakistan's PR agent disguised as a NATO member. Erdogan, this guy's unbelievable. The man is acting like some kind of regional strongman, while his country crumbles economically. And what's his solution? Fling Turkish warships into Karachi's ports and call it a friendly visit. Please. What a sick joke. You don't send fighter jets, warships and military advisors to a terrorist-supporting nation and call it goodwill. That's not goodwill, that's collusion. Turkey's been ramping up military aid to Pakistan, especially in one area: drones, advanced combat UAVs, surveillance platforms, targeting systems. Basically, trying to gift Pakistan an aerial advantage, supposedly game-changer drones, straight from Turkish defense contractors like Baker. But guess what? India's not impressed. India's not intimidated. In fact, India's destroying them. Every single drone Pakistan has tried to sneak across the border, every Turkish gadget buzzing in the sky, boom, tracked, locked, neutralized mid-air by Akash surface-to-air missile systems, and those that try to fly lower, intercepted by D4 anti-drone tracking, Indian-developed tech, built in India, for India, by India. This isn't borrowed power, this isn't second-hand tech. This is homegrown muscle that's outclassing Turkish imports like they're toys from a weekend flea market. Turkey's war games aren't fooling anyone. They're not bringing strategy to the table, they're bringing liabilities. And India's already sent them back in pieces. So Erdogan, keep shipping drones. We'll keep turning them into scrap metal. Oh, you thought we were done with China? Ha, not even close. Because these cowards didn't stop at weapons and satellites. No, They decided to go full James Bond from their basements and launch cyber attacks on India. China's been helping Pakistan with digital sabotage, trying to jam our defense communications, hack into our sensitive military systems, disrupt radar and logistics lines. Basically, a keyboard war conducted by faceless, nameless geeks hiding behind the Great Firewall. Sneaky? Yes. Smart? Not even close. Because India's cyber warriors? Savage. They've been shutting down infiltration attempts left and right. You hit us with a digital virus, we send back an iron wall of code that eats it alive. You try to breach our networks, we trace your IP, expose your backend servers, and shove your fingerprints out into the open. Every digital move China makes leaves a trail. And every trail leads right back to them. The world's watching now. China thought cyber warfare was their ace card. Turns out, it's just another desperate play in a losing game. You see, while China hides behind firewalls and fake smiles, India is building fortresses, secure homegrown systems that aren't just defensive, they're offensive when needed. So yeah, nice try China. Your dirty tricks are exposed. And your so-called technological superiority turns out it's as weak as your knockoff smartphones. Let's not kid ourselves. Turkey isn't just throwing weapons into Pakistan's lap. They're also waging a full-blown information war on India across the global stage. Every time India defends its sovereignty, whether it's retaliating after a terror attack or launching a strategic strike, Turkey's out there crying like a toddler with a stubbed toe. Indian aggression, nuclear escalation, threat to regional peace. Give me a break. These clowns show up in international forums, from the UN to the OIC, screaming about human rights violations while ignoring the fact that Pakistan harbors the very terrorists who slaughter civilians. Why? Why this obsession with whitewashing Pakistan's sins? Simple. Erdogan wants to style himself as the caliph of the Muslim world. The guy thinks he's some kind of Ottoman revivalist, a messiah for Islamic causes. And the easiest way to win brownie points, side with Pakistan, bash India, and play the savior of the subcontinent. And let's not forget, this is the same Turkey whose economy is tanking, whose people are suffering under inflation, and whose journalists are jailed for speaking the truth. So of course, what better way to distract the world than to invent an enemy? But here's the reality, they're not peacekeepers, they're political opportunists. They're not defending Muslims, they're empowering a terrorist-sponsoring regime. And while they're busy pushing this propaganda, India is busy defending actual borders and crushing their narratives with cold, hard facts. So now let's talk about China's so-called military generosity, aka their arms dumping. They've been shipping drones, missile launchers, anti-aircraft systems, radar jammers, you name it, to Pakistan, acting like they're turning Pakistan into a fortress. Headlines in Beijing shout, strategic defense partnership like it's a Nobel-winning initiative. But here's the cold, brutal truth. All that Chinese hardware, useless. When Indian jets flew in for retaliatory strikes, they didn't just enter airspace, they pierced straight through Pakistan's defenses. Chinese radars didn't detect squat. Missile systems couldn't lock on. The mighty defense network collapsed like a sandcastle in a monsoon. Why? Because folks, it's all for show. Chinese arms are great for propaganda videos and military parades, but when the rubber hits the road, they crack under pressure. Just like everything else, they mass-produce, cheap, unreliable, and poorly tested. India's response: surgical, devastating, precise. We didn't just retaliate, we dominated. No losses, no excuses, just results. Because in warfare, it's not about who sells you shiny toys. It's about the men behind the machines, the minds running the strategy, and the systems that actually work. And that's where India wins, every single time. Let's be clear, Turkey's involvement with Pakistan is not limited to the occasional ship visit or drone drop-off. No, this is a covert, strategic, dangerous alliance, and it runs deeper than most people realize. It's not just hardware, it's integration. Turkish military officers are training Pakistani soldiers, embedding themselves into planning cells, and influencing military doctrine. Turkish companies are helping Pakistan develop warships, stealth drones, and surveillance tech right under the radar, and those warships parked in Karachi. Not a naval courtesy call. That's a power play. A subtle but clear declaration. We stand with you, Pakistan, even against India. And guess what? India sees through the act. Every ship movement, every drone flight, every so-called military drill is being monitored, and when needed, countered. Turkey thinks it's building leverage in South Asia. In reality, they're aligning themselves with a failing state and exposing themselves to international scrutiny and, frankly, future humiliation. Because aligning with Pakistan might win you applause in Islamabad, but in the real world, it just makes you an accessory to state-sponsored terrorism. Let's get one thing absolutely straight. This is not the India of 1999. This isn't an India that sits back while being provoked, hoping diplomacy will fix what bullets created. This India hits back. Hard, fast, surgical, and with zero apology. Whether it's a terror launch pad in Pakistan-occupied territory, a Turkish drone buzzing near our border, or a cyber attack routed through Beijing's puppet networks, India responds. Not with words, not with UN statements, with action. China gives Pakistan their best radar tech, India bypasses it. Turkey sends drones, India shoots them down. Pakistan tries to push infiltrators across the LOC, India sends them back in body bags. This isn't defense, this is dominance. India today is self-reliant, battle-tested, and unshakable. Our Akash systems, our BrahMos missiles, our cyber command centers, our elite units, every piece of our defense apparatus is now primed not just to respond, but to overwhelm. And we don't give a damn if China throws a tantrum or if Erdogan cries in front of a UN mic. The game has changed. So if Beijing and Ankara think they're playing some master geopolitical chess match, let them know, India's already checkmated them. So yeah, next time someone talks about China as a peace broker or Turkey as a friendly ally, just remember, they're feeding the fire. They're selling weapons to a nation that nurtures terrorism, and they're crying foul when India decides enough is enough. But guess what? India's not just fighting back. India is winning. Like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because staying silent, that just helps the enemy. Thanks for tuning in to Ceasefire Violation. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the world with us.